I arrived in August 1983. Pulpit Committee had visited my church up in Seattle, where I had pastored for 7 years, and then we went through the process of candidating at Bethany, and they extended a call to me. I was 33 years old at the time when I came to Salem, and to be called by a church of that kind of stature, it boosted your ego quite a bit, I guess.
The church, along with the nation, was suffering through times of economic trouble in the decade of the 80s. Nevertheless, Pastor Churilla and the church continued its ministry and eventually recovered and continued to grow in numbers and ministry.
Things didn't change instantly either when I came either, but initially, there was some indebtedness. I think that we were about $15,000 in debt, and it took us a few years to recoup and to stabilize. I think about 2 years, 2.5 years. I can remember a person that was just attending the church at the time, and we had about a $5,000 debt that was still left, and they came to my door and handed me a check for $5,000, which brought us current on everything. So that was wonderful.
One of the major emphases of the church throughout its existence has been missions. The first missionary couple the church sent out from its midst was Don and Esther Zachary, who were commissioned to the Navajo Indians back in 1973. Since then, a number of missionaries and mission agencies have been supported by the church. The largest contribution over the years has been to Western Baptist College. In 1994, the church had grown to such an extent that it called Tim Baker as full-time youth pastor.
I knew of Tim because he was a youth pastor at Berean Baptist in Nampa, Idaho, which is my wife's family's church in Nampa, or was. And so I appreciated what he was doing there. I saw the outreach type ministries that he had there. And as a consequence, I sought opportunity. He was reluctant to even consider, I believe, initially. And he came as the assistant, and one of the things that he's really done very, very well is to organize and to get people to work with him. And that was one of the things that was a strong suit that was very evident when he first came.
Continued growth made it necessary to start a second morning worship service in 1996.
The primary goal is to reach people for Christ. We're not going to change the world and I guess this is a philosophical point that I embraced when I was there, we're not going to change by being the rule keepers. We are going to win people to Christ, and as we see people come to Christ, their lives are changed. And just getting back to seeing individuals that are addicts and seeing individuals that are dealing with really basic addiction issues, alcoholism, etc., seeing those kinds of things, that's where the rubber meets the road. And it's a numbers game. It's about winning people to Christ. If we do that, then we're going to be successful.
One of the innovations of Pastor Churilla was the formation of small group worship, or life groups, as they were called, to meet in the informal atmosphere of people's homes. This has proved a refreshing meeting environment for many church members. Always a very popular program of the church was the children's musicals. The children spent much time preparing for a presentation for Christmas or other special occasions. The program was always a musical and spiritual treat.
I've always enjoyed children, and I value those memories. Those are my fondest. Some of them are the funniest. Some of them are most instructional too. I think of one little boy, and he's bigger than me now, but I remember getting ready to baptize him. I could hold him in my arms at that time, and I asked him, I said, who is Jesus Christ? Or no, I asked him, who are you? I asked him what he was, and he says, I'm Christ's kid. And I thought that over the years has been the most profound statement of the purpose of baptism. I'm Christ's kid. And so those are, what would you call it, the delightful parts of ministry, and I cherish them still to this day.
Special ministries have often been a part of life at Bethany Baptist. Men's Saturday breakfasts were especially popular during the time of Pastor Churilla. Women's ministries of various sorts have been a constant part of church life. Special banquets, seminars, and retreats have also served as a great means of fellowship and spiritual growth. A special highlight of the year 1994 was the burning of the church mortgage. The church celebrated this milestone with a formal ceremony led by Nelson Zarfas, chairman of the deacon board.